The Academy's training grounds were bustling with activity as young cadets from all across the galaxy prepared for the combat drills. These drills were notorious for being grueling. Even the toughest warriors from advanced species required their cutting-edge armor to withstand the simulated battlefield conditions. That's why the sight of the human cadet, bare-skinned and unarmored, caused a wave of murmurs among the alien students. Karnak, a towering Zorvian student whose species was known for their impenetrable exoskeletons, narrowed his multifaceted eyes at the sight. "This is madness," he hissed to his friend, a feathered Avenari named Lisha. "Humans may be hardy, but this is suicidal." Lisha clicked her beak in agreement, her feathers ruffling with unease. "Surely the instructors won't allow it," she said. But the instructors, standing sternly at the sidelines, made no move to intervene. The human, a young man named Corporal Elias Vance, adjusted his training uniform, the only barrier between him and the unforgiving terrain of the simulation field. His squad mates, clad in advanced combat suits that gleamed with integrated shielding systems, glanced nervously at him. "You're really going to do this?" one of his squad mates, a Zentarian with 6 arms and bioluminescent skin, asked. Elias grinned, his expression a blend of confidence and defiance. "Of course. What's the point of a combat drill if you're not testing your real limits?" The whistle blew, signaling the start of the exercise. The field transformed before their eyes, holographic projectors generating an environment filled with jagged cliffs, lava streams, and hostile robotic drones armed with plasma cannons. It was a gauntlet designed to push even the most durable species to their breaking point. Elias didn't hesitate. While his squad mates activated their shields and defensive protocols, he charged forward, his movements fluid and precise. The other students watching from the sidelines were initially stunned into silence. Then the incredulous commentary began. "Is he insane? A plasma blast would tear through him like paper," one alien cadet exclaimed. "He doesn't even have claw retractors or toxin glands. How is he going to survive the drones?" another chimed in. The first wave of drones descended, their plasma cannons charging with an ominous hum. Elias dodged the first blast with an agility that seemed impossible for a creature of his build. He used the terrain to his advantage, sliding under a ledge to avoid a barrage of fire, and then leaping onto a rocky outcrop. With a swift, calculated throw, he hurled a small explosive device he had crafted from his limited gear. The resulting blast disabled 3 drones in one go. The onlookers stared, wide-eyed. Lisha turned to Karnak. "Did you see that? He's not just fast, he's thinking 3 moves ahead." Karnak grunted, his pride wounded. "He's still vulnerable. One wrong move, and he's done." But Elias didn't make a wrong move. He anticipated the drone's attack patterns, exploiting weaknesses in their programming that even the instructors hadn't considered. When a drone cornered him against a cliff edge, he used his bare hands to grapple it, tearing off its power core in a move that left the spectators in stunned silence. The second phase of the drill was even more brutal. Simulated predators, massive, multi-limbed creatures with razor-sharp mandibles, were released onto the field. These beasts were designed to replicate the apex predators from various deathworlds. Even in full armor, most cadets struggled to fend them off. Elias faced them with nothing but a makeshift spear he had fashioned from a piece of drone debris. When one of the predators lunged at him, he sidestepped with uncanny precision, driving the spear into the creature's vulnerable underbelly. Another predator tried to flank him, but he rolled beneath its attack, using its momentum against it to send it tumbling into a lava stream. By the time the drill ended, Elias stood at the center of the field, battered but victorious. His squad mates, still shielded by their armor, were catching their breath, while Elias leaned casually against a rock, his smirk intact. The instructors approached, their expressions unreadable. The lead instructor, a grizzled veteran of the Sarkin species, finally spoke. "Cadet Vance, explain yourself. Why did you choose to forego the use of armors?" Elias shrugged. "Because out there in real combat, there's no guarantee your tech won't fail. I wanted to show that sometimes it's not about what you have, it's about how you use it." The crowd erupted into whispers. Some were in awe, others skeptical. But none could deny the results. The human had not only survived but excelled, proving that resilience, adaptability, and raw determination could rival even the most advanced technology. Lisha turned to Karnak, her feathers puffed with newfound admiration. Maybe there's more to these humans than we thought. Karnak crossed his arms, his pride still stinging. They're still fragile. But, I'll admit, they're more dangerous than they look. Elias, oblivious to the conversations around him, glanced at his squad mates. Same time tomorrow? He asked with a grin. They groaned in unison, but there was a glint of respect in their eyes. As the crowd dispersed, one thought lingered in the minds of every alien student. Humans, for all their physical frailty, had a spirit that was utterly unbreakable. And in the galaxy's most brutal arenas, that might just make them the deadliest species of all. The alien students in the academy couldn't stop discussing the humans' remarkable performance. Word of Elias's unarmored feat spread rapidly, not just among the cadets but throughout the wider Galactic defense training network. Soon, news feeds and holoscreens across the galaxy were buzzing with clips of the human combat drill, analyzed and dissected by military strategists and commentators. Elias, on the other hand, remained oblivious to his newfound fame, or infamy, depending on who was talking. He simply returned to his barracks, repaired his makeshift spear, and prepared for another day of training. The following day, the instructors announced a new challenge, a group simulation. Teams from various species would be pitted against one another in a scenario designed to test teamwork and adaptability. Elias was assigned to a group consisting of Karnak, Lisha, and 2 other alien cadets, an aquatic Siriath named Velo and a mechanical Erythra named Nix-27. Karnak was less than thrilled about the arrangement. "You've made your point, human," he grumbled. "But this time, try not to get us all killed with your reckless heroics." Elias just smiled. "Don't worry, big guy. I'll make sure you keep up." Their mission was to infiltrate a simulated enemy stronghold, retrieve a data core, and extract without being caught or neutralized. The stronghold was heavily fortified with traps, drones, and combat programs modeled after real galactic militaries. As the simulation began, it became clear that Elias's unorthodox approach to combat wasn't just an anomaly, it was an advantage. While his teammates relied on their species-specific strengths, Elias constantly adapted, finding creative solutions to every obstacle. When a trap caught Karnak's bulky frame, Elias disarmed it with tools scavenged from the environment. When a drone spotted the group, Elias used a decoy to lure it into an ambush. Lisha, initially skeptical, began to see the logic in his seemingly reckless tactics. He's not reckless, she realized aloud during a tense moment. He's unpredictable. The enemy can't anticipate his moves because they don't follow any standard protocol. Karnak, begrudgingly, began to respect the human's ingenuity, even as he complained. "Fine, he's clever," he admitted after Elias saved him for the 3rd time. "But he's still insane." The team eventually reached the data core, but the extraction proved to be the most challenging part. The simulation ramped up the difficulty, deploying waves of advanced drones and activating environmental hazards. At one point, the entire area became a field of shifting gravity wells, a challenge even the most advanced armor struggled to overcome. But Elias thrived. His experience on Earth's chaotic battlefields gave him an edge. While the others stumbled or hesitated, he moved with practiced ease, his instincts finely tuned to adapt to the unexpected. He led the team through the maze of gravity wells, barking orders and improvising solutions on the fly. By the end of the simulation, the team stood battered but victorious. The other groups had either failed or taken significant casualties, even with their advanced armor and technology. The instructors, impressed despite themselves, reviewed the performance with a mix of awe and disbelief. "Your team succeeded not because of superior firepower or technology," the lead instructor remarked, addressing the cadets, "but because you learned to trust each other's strengths. And, more importantly," he added, glancing at Elias, "because you adapted to the unknown." The alien students, once dismissive of the human, now regarded him with a mixture of respect and curiosity. Many approached him afterward, eager to learn about his training and background. For the first time, Elias felt like he wasn't just the odd one out, he was a pioneer, showing the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. In the weeks that followed, the academy began to change. Other cadets started experimenting with unarmored drills, testing their limits the way Elias had. Alien instructors began incorporating elements of human adaptability into their lessons. And Elias? He continued to push himself, determined to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its physicality, it was its spirit. Elias became a figure of both curiosity and inspiration across the Academy. His unconventional methods, honed through human ingenuity and survival instincts, began to leave a lasting impact not just on his immediate peers, but on the entire structure of the Galactic Defense Training Academy. The alien cadets started to incorporate his unpredictable strategies into their own training routines. Those who had initially dismissed him began to ask questions, observing his movements during exercises and even trying out unarmored combat drills. Elias willingly shared what he could, explaining Earth's harsh environments and humanity's long history of adapting to challenges beyond their control. The instructors took note. While they had been skeptical of human training at first, Elias's success could no longer be ignored. One instructor, a cold and calculating Sylvan tactician named Commander Korix, began to incorporate scenarios designed to specifically test adaptability and creativity. These new drills were designed to push cadets out of their comfort zones, and it became evident that species who relied too heavily on their armor and traditional methods often failed. Elias's most significant contribution came during a live simulation that was suddenly interrupted by an emergency. A pirate faction had ambushed a nearby galactic trade route, and a distress signal from a civilian convoy reached the Academy. It was decided that the Academy's best cadets would be deployed to assist, a real mission that would serve as the ultimate test of their abilities. Elias and his team were among those selected. The mission was perilous. The pirates had commandeered several advanced attack vessels and were using illegal gravity destabilizers to keep the convoy immobilized. The Academy ships were outgunned and outmaneuvered, and traditional strategies failed to break the stalemate. Elias, observing the chaos, stepped forward with an unorthodox plan. "If they're using gravity destabilizers, we can use that against them," he said. He proposed using a risky maneuver that involved deliberately destabilizing their own ship's gravity field to slingshot debris into the pirate vessels, a strategy no alien would have considered due to the potential for catastrophic failure. His team hesitated, but Li Sha and Karnak, now trusting in Elias's instincts, backed him up. "If we don't try something different, we're all going to lose," Li Sha said. With reluctance, the other cadets agreed. The maneuver was a success. The pirates, unprepared for such an audacious tactic, were thrown into disarray. Elias and his team exploited the opening, disabling the destabilizers and freeing the convoy. The mission ended in victory, and the Academy cadets returned as heroes. The aftermath of the mission cemented Elias's reputation. The Galactic Defense Council itself acknowledged the human cadets' contributions, and the Academy began to formally integrate human training philosophies into its curriculum. Elias became a symbol of what humanity could offer, a reminder that even in a galaxy of advanced civilizations, sometimes the simplest instincts and the boldest ideas could change everything. Back in the barracks, Elias sat with his team, reflecting on the journey that had brought them together. Karnak, gruff as always, gave him a rare compliment. "You're still insane, human," he said, "but you've earned your place here." Elias grinned. "Just wait until next time."